Welcome back. Welcome back to a Just Listen podcast, guys. Welcome to another I'm Pissed Saturday. Jump on into the channel. Listen, we got a lot to talk about this Saturday. I'm doing a I'm Pissed Saturday night vision, nighttime. So welcome on in. Welcome on in to this Just Listen podcast. I'm Pissed Saturday. It is your boy Walt. And like I said, we got a lot to talk about today. We definitely do. First and foremost, let me just say this. Let me get this off my chest. Black people built this country. Now, no offense to anybody out there. No offense to you, whatever background you come from. But it was off the backs of my ancestors, my black ancestors, the African Americans who built this country. Now, I'm going to just say this. Yes, of course, we had people help to continue to build this country, but it was off the backs of my ancestors that built this country. From the chattel slavery, working the fields, to working the railroads, to building homes. It was black Americans, black slaves who built this country. Now, like I said, I don't want to offend anybody when it comes to that. I just want to set the table straight. You know, like when Shabuzi said that the United States was built by immigrants. That's not true necessarily. That's not immigrants have helped to continue to build this country. However, it was not off the backs of immigrants that built this country. It was off the backs of black and brown slaves that built this country. So with that being said, we're going to talk about several different things here, but I wanted to bring this to people's attention in regards to some good information to have. And it is this book here. The Black 100. Now, this book, I've had this book for some time now. However, it's definitely updated. I can tell you that. It's definitely updated when it comes to it. And this is ranking the most influential African Americans, past and present. This is by Columbus Sally, okay? It is the Black 100. And again, this book is definitely updated. And post in the comment section where you're from, post in the comment section how you're doing. You know, I want to be able to connect with you guys here. But like I said, black people built this country. Black people built this country, and we have had assistance with, well, let me back up really quick and say black and Indians built this country. From the transatlantic slave trade, the chattel slavery, my ancestors built this country. My ancestors were the arbiters of building this country. Hey, Vera. Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. So, like I was saying, when we talk about slavery, when we really go back to the black history of slaves, it was off the backs of my ancestors with the ring shout, you know, the call and response from the I'm not for sure if you guys know about that, but there was one day that slaves had opportunities to be able to rest. And that was usually on Sundays. And on Sundays, that would be their day of rest because, of course, the slave owners who claimed to be Christian but treated human beings inferior to them, treating human beings by whipping them, raping them, violating their children, separating them from their families. Sunday was the day that slaves were able to kind of converge together. You know, of course, they learned Christianity back in that time frame as well, but they also used their Negro spirituals. And so this is where we get our Negro spirituals now, where they would do call and response, ring, shout. If you guys don't know anything about that, that's just like what my ancestors did back in Africa whenever they would have their ceremonies, is call and response, ring, shout, and so on. Now, black people, when immigrants came to this country, it was because black people fought for them to come to this country. You know, when it came to slavery time frame, when it came to segregation, when it came to all that stuff, it was not the separation between white water fountain and the Muslim water fountain or the Hispanic water fountain. Like I said, no offense to anybody on that, but it was the white water fountain and it was the Negro black water fountain. And just like Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass, they fought for equality for everybody in this country. And it didn't have to have a label on it like FBA. It didn't have to have a label on it like ADOS. It didn't have to have a label on it like LBGTQ. They fought for equality for everyone. From the young man who was kidnapped, saying that he committed a crime back during slavery time frame, to put him in chains, to work on railroads, and the parents don't know where their child is at. That's what happened to my ancestors. So on this Black History Month, I just wanted to give a shout out to every person who comes from that heritage, comes from that background. I want to give a shout out to everyone specifically. But Black History Month is for the Black American, the American that ancestors came from slavery. Hey, Sophia, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? So this is why I'm pissed this Saturday. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Am I talking too loud? Post in the comment section where you're from, you know, how you're doing. But let me know if I'm loud, because I am in my office today and it may get a little bit echoey. I'm still working on getting some stuff set up to where it's soundproof in here. However, this is my oldest son's bedroom that I do this in. And so, you know, of course, he's not here now. So I'm using his room, to which he doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have a choice. But yeah, I still have his mattress right over here. That's my soundproof there. That's part of my soundproof until I'm actually able to work on a lot of things when it comes to it. But yeah, we're gonna dive into this I'm Pissed Saturday. We're gonna dive into this because, as you well know, all you guys know, that America, there's a continuation of issues that happen within America. There's the continuation of issues that are happening with these racist people in this administration doing felonious things, and people are just, you know, when it comes to the mainstream media, they are really doing a disservice to us. They are really doing a disservice to us here in the United States, and also to the world. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If you are paying attention and you actually care, you will understand that things are not getting good here, and it's getting bad across the board. It's getting bad across the board. And so I have a couple of things that I'm going to be, if you don't see me in a screenshot, that's because I got to grab my tablet here. But this administration will continue to lie to no end. They will make it seem like we're doing great here in this country when it's not the case. That's called delusions of grandeur. That's called being a habitual liar. And that's what they're doing in this country, as well as what they're doing outside of this country. We just heard that there was another boat that was that Pete Hegseth that they took out. I just heard about this recently. And, you know, the illegal things that are taking place, it's just driving me wild how anybody can continue to support this administration when they've lied to us over and over again. Donald Trump said, I didn't know about Project 2025. He didn't know about Project 2025, but then he said that, you know, we're going to be implementing Project 2025. Vernon, what's going on? How's it going, guys? How's it going? Guilty of being right, you are wrong. See, you are wrong right there. So, I mean, you know, I'm trying to, we got people in this world. We got people from other countries that are acting like they are in America, talking American shit when they're lying. We already know that they're lying because, of course, we have people that are being agitators from across the globe that want to see America continue to decline. They want to see America continue to decline. But back on Donald the Orange Man Trump, they're doing so many illegal things. They're doing so many illegal things. They're going to try to steal elections, guys. But we're not going to allow that to happen. We're not going to allow the Trump administration to steal the election. Nicole Marie, you are lying. You know that you honestly, people, I'm going to tell you this. The percentage of individuals who have turned on Trump is astounding. Donald Trump, he's not even into a full second year in administration. And his approval rating is getting worse and worse and worse. And we can see that when it comes to these special elections that are taking place. We can see that when it comes to people who were avid supporters of him coming on live on their TikTok live, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, saying that they can no longer support Trump. They say that I cannot support this man. He is lying to us. And the alpha bros, which they're betas, honestly, they're milk toast. With the beta bros, they're like, oh man, we thought that things were going to be great, but they're not. When you look at what Joe Rogan was talking about, like he's like, I can't stand by this. It's like, dude, black people were telling you guys this from the beginning, that Donald Trump is a racist. Donald Trump is a habitual liar. Donald Trump does not care about the American people. Donald Trump does not care about being a Nobel Peace Prize winner, because he wanted to be the Nobel Peace Prize winner so bad. Donald Trump is still stuck on 2020 election, knowing that there were 60 court cases that said that the election was fair, free and fair. And you have them continue to talk about that. But we got some juicy things to talk about as well when it comes to it. We have some juicy things to talk about when it comes to the election. But before we do, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you care about humanity and you're not like MAGA, you're not in the cult, you're not deep in the cult, subscribe to the channel, give me some thumbs up, share this with your family and friends who care about humanity as well. Because we know that MAGA is completely, they're out of their minds. But we see that the shift is changing. The shift is completely changing, even with people who were average 3-time Trump supporting voters. We see that the shift is changing when it comes to it. So I am pissed. I am pissed because we have it's probably more than that, 3 people that lost their lives, and there hasn't been one single arrest for the ICE agents that unalived Alex Preddy, Renee Good, and Keith Porter Jr. That should piss you off. That should piss you off. We have ICE agents, and I know that Greg Bovino, that little short bastard, is back in California. But we have Greg Bovino and these Gestapo, and I'm going to call them Gestapo because I don't care what people say, oh, they're not like the Gestapo. Yes, they are part of the Gestapo, because back in the World War II time frame in history, that's what the brown shirts were the Gestapo, going and attacking people, going into their homes and so forth to kidnap Jewish people and send them to concentration camps. We have the Gestapo who is continuing. They are the ones that's committing the crimes right now. You had Donald Trump talking, oh, we're the safest now because of ICE, and that's a freaking lie. And I'm trying to keep it clean from me cursing today in this Black History Month. I'm gonna try to keep it clean because sometimes I get pissed off just hearing about the things that are going on in our country, the things that we should have not gotten here. If people would have listened to Kamala Harris, we would not be in this situation. We would not be in a situation with the it's not real continue to decimate Gaza, like I've talked about before. I talked about that last week. It's not real is continued to decimate Gaza. And here in the United States, we are continuing to fund that. Our tax dollars are going to decimating and taking out Palestinian people because it's not real. Is continue to say that they are, continuously under barrage between Hamas, which is an effing lie. Like I said, I'm gonna keep it real on this Black History Month time frame because no, I'm not gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna keep it real. Fuck ICE. Fuck this Trump administration, and fuck all of MAGA. Plain and simple. I can't say it any better than that. Democrats need to continue to take the low ground. Democrats need to, if you go low, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to let you guys know. I try to love everybody, but I don't love MAGA, and I will never love MAGA. If you have a MAGA hat on, real talk, if you have a MAGA hat on, I just look at you. I'm not going to confront you. I'm not going to go over and attack you. I'm not going to be violent or anything like that. But I know where you stand at when it comes to racism. I know where MAGA stands at when it comes to their bigotry, their support for a pedophile. I know where your support stands at. If you got, MAGA was all about draining the swamp. And they thought that it was Democrats. MAGA thought that Democrats were the ones that were child trafficking. Thought that they were the ones that were committing these crimes in regards to trafficking women, abusing and violating women. But when we looked at that list, that 3.5 million drop of the E-Files, it was a lot of rich white men who donated to Trump, billionaires who they probably, more than likely, they voted Republican, besides, Bill Clinton and yada, yada, bullshit like that. We still have people that are supporting that. We still have people supporting that like it's okay. And you hear like, who was the young man? Dean Parker or what was the young man's name? Somebody post in the comment section. What was the young man's name? Who he was doing, his little TikTok live video, and it was a guy saying, well, what's wrong with child rape? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with violating children? And he was just completely just lost for words. He was completely lost for words. And he's like, it's happening, guys. It's happening. And the guy was sitting there trying to defend it. This man was sitting there trying to defend it. And me personally, I would have definitely gave him all the heat that he needed to get. Are you kidding me? You mean to tell me that you're okay with 12, 13, and 14-year-old girls, maybe even boys, being violated by men and some women? You mean to tell me that you're okay, or you're trying to say that it's okay, or what is wrong with it? You are a sick individual. You are a very sick individual, and you need to seek help. You need to seek help, because you are going to be on a path to where you're going to be in one of these little clippings with being locked up for pedophilia or violating or hurting children. That shit was, it's crazy. It's crazy that we are having people that are okay with it. Like, they're like, Trump was like, why are we still talking about the Epstein Files? We need to move on from the Epstein Files. We need to talk about the great things that I've done for the United States. We are bringing in so much money, and that's a lie too. That's a lie as well. If people are thinking that we're doing good in this country, then his approval rating will be above 50%. His approval rating will be in the 60s and 70%, right? And it's not just Democrats that are going and voting in regards to how they feel about the economy, how they feel about deportations, how they feel about inflation. There are so many people that are shifting their tune now. There are so many people shifting their tune because they know that Donald Trump is corrupt. And I don't know why it was just the Epstein Files that get people to turn. That's where the loss of humanity is in this country. The loss of humanity is that it took for this release of the E-Files, and supposedly DJT is in these E-Files like thousands of times. Thousands of times he's in his E-Files. You got Bill Gates in there, and we're going to talk about Elon Musk in a minute. And that's where people started to break from it. But they didn't want to break from this cult when they saw people being attacked that were innocent individuals, that were going to the courtrooms to get their undocumented status approved again. They were okay with black people losing their jobs. 400,000+ black people lost their jobs back in 2025. The unemployment rate for African Americans, black people, is at like 8.7%. They were okay. MAGA was okay with that. Trump supporters were okay with that until they found out that this whole cabal that Trump was talking about with the E-Files, this whole cabal, Trump was part of that cabal. Trump was part of the cabal, and now they're breaking from it. Now they're breaking from it. It's like, if you guys would have listened to people like me, we were telling you that Donald Trump was a racist. If you were listening to people like me, And my black sisters that were sounding the alarm a long time ago, you would have realized that Donald Trump was only in it for himself. Donald Trump has made billions of dollars in 2025 from all the felonious things that he is doing with side deals. It's paid for play with Donald Trump. So that's why I'm definitely pissed on this Saturday, because it was supposed to be about the economy, right? It was supposed to be about the economy and putting more money in my pocket, right? That's what MAGA voted on for. That's what the Latinos voted for. That's what some of these dumbass black people voted for, was the economy, and that there were going to be jobs coming back into this country. But that was all a lie. See, Trump is good at lying and convincing people that he's going to do what they think he's going to do, when it's the total opposite. Because Trump could give a damn about you. He could give a damn about me. And that's why he's imposed this stupid stuff about trying to get rid of civil rights, affirmative action, DEI. That was the boogeyman at first, right? It was DEI that was the boogeyman. And blaming it on DEI when helicopters were falling out of the sky, when there were train wrecks and things like that. That's what that was. That was the DEI blame. And then it was the blame it on Biden or Obama. Blame it on Biden and Obama anytime there was something negative to happen. And then he had a Secretary of Transportation, that idiot, doing the same thing. And that's what this whole administration does. They blame it on Biden. They blame it on Obama. Donald Trump is a racist, plain and simple. And we just saw that a few days ago. Was it yesterday? When Donald Trump on Truth Social, and they want to make up a lie. And trust me, they're lying. They're lying. On Truth Social, where he had posted a picture of Barack and Michelle Obama as apes. And then they want to blame it on somebody else. They're a freaking lie. Donald Trump knows when things are being posted on Truth Social. He doesn't have an age just posted without him taking a look or approving it. Donald Trump posted that shit, and then they took it off real quick, and the black MAGA are okay with that. I'm not okay with that. I am not okay with that, because I know that Barack Obama's not in the Epstein Files. I know that Michelle Obama's not in the Epstein Files. I know that they weren't part of that whole criminal ring that the Trump administration is doing. Barack Obama had class. He had respect. Yeah, of course, not one president is amazing during this time frame. Not one president is amazing. But I can tell you this, with the situation that Barack Obama had to get us out of when it came to the recession back in 2008, people were so upset because they thought that Barack Obama was divisive. But we had the most divisive, dumbest president of any time frame running the country again. And you can see that with all the support that we're getting in regards to ICE. They are saying ICE get out in Milan, Italy, where the Olympics are at. We have other countries advocating for the people here in a positive way. They're not saying they support ICE like some of you dumbasses are. They're not saying, oh, we are loving what's taking place in America with people being attacked, schools being raided, daycares being raided. We have people in all across the globe supporting remove ICE. And I don't know about you guys, but I want ICE abolished. ICE has not been the beginning of whenever we were a country. ICE was formed back in like 2003 or 2009, some time frame. Or no, excuse me, about 2009, 2003, 2009. So yeah, I'm calling for abolish ICE. I'm calling for the Democratic Party to get off their ass and do something about what's going on. And I know that they have their hands tied when it comes to a lot of things, but I'll say this. There's no more aid to it's not real. No more aid to it's not real. No more support for that's going on. Focus on putting out the news and information about what's going on in this country. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Cory Booker, all the supporters of BB. Cut that out. Start posting stuff about what's going on in this country. Because even though the world can see the shit that's going on when they see it in the news, they need to talk about what's going on in this country and how Trump has impacted this country negatively and his administration impacted this country negatively. I thought tariffs were supposed to bring money into the economy to where things weren't costing so much. But no, my wife and I went and bought grapes because my son, he loves grapes for lunch. He loves grapes, on his, he's playing a game. He might want to go grab some grapes and everything. It was like $10 for some freaking grapes. The price of things are going up. And if you look, and I'm going to tell you this, if you look up what percentage has inflation increased for spices, beef, all the food, it's like past 30%. Past 30% that inflation has increased since Trump got in the office. I'm a Trump hater, yes. Y'all can hate it or love it. I am a Trump hater. I've never liked the man. I knew from the beginning how terrible Trump was. And we can go back through his history with his father. We can go back through his history when the Central Park Five was lied upon, and he put an ad in regards to giving them the death penalty and never apologized. See, what Trump does is he'll do something wrong, but he's not man enough to apologize because he never thinks that he's wrong. And that's the messed up thing about it, is that we have people that support Trump, and Trump never apologized to them. He never apologized to the farmers the first time when he imposed tariffs on China, and the farmers weren't able to get their products from China for their machines. He never apologized for that. Hell, he never apologized for the lie that he made on Alex Peretti, saying that Alex Peretti was the instigator, saying that he was a terrorist. He never apologized for that. He never apologized for Renee Good being unalived, killed in broad daylight, and the guy was like F and B. What type of man does that after he takes somebody's life? Especially a woman. Call her an F and B, calling a woman a B. Calling them the B word is like one of the lowest things that you can do besides spit on them or violate them physically. That's one of the lowest things. I'm going to go ahead and read some chats real quick because I like to connect with people. But if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Hey, listen, I enjoy connecting with everyone. And even MAGA that come on here, I'll reply back to them because I know that they're not smart. Make America Great Again individuals are not intelligent whatsoever. And that's the reason why this country is declining the way that it is. You're with me. I'm with you. I despise the orange man. Yes. Yes. Blacks for MAGA. Hey, how do you feel? Okay, the blacks for MAGA that doesn't have a face on here. We know that that's a lie. You're not black. You're not a black man or woman. Because see, when you see my channel, when you guys see my channel, you see my face. You see my face and you see my profile. And I care about humanity. I care about people in my country. I care about people in other countries as well. Real talk. Real talk. Anyways, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We have, please, here's something that I can say, and I want people to just take heed to this. Sometimes you have to ignore the noise because we know how things are going in our country, and there's going to be those individuals that are trying to drain the life out of you with the misinformation and lies. They're going to try to drain the life out of you because they're not even here in this country to see what's going on. They're not here, boots on the ground, going to the grocery store here to see that the grocery prices are expensive and that people have to decide on if they can purchase their medication or if they can pay their rent. Or people can decide if they can either purchase a home or if they need to make sure that their child has daycare assistance. Because childcare is expensive here in America. Life is hard right now for many, many people. Millions of people are suffering in the U.S. And like I said, that's why we have other countries supporting those that are affected here in this country with their abolish ICE, with them booing the dumbass, punk ass JD Vance. I heard about this. My wife and I, we went on a date today. You know, our son had his academy that he went to. We went on a date, and I had heard about how the Italian people in Milan were booing JD Vance and Usha Vance. They were booing the crap out of him. But you know, Fox News probably didn't play that part. That goes to show you how other countries think about this country here and think about who's running this country. That goes to show you that. I love it. I love when other countries are booing the president and the vice president because they are evil people. You want to talk about Christianity? Nowhere in the Bible did it say to treat individuals horribly. And you have these fake Christians, supposedly JD Vance is Catholic or whatever. Trump is he's not even a Christian. He lies. He is not even a Christian. When a man says 2 Corinthians, that's not how the Bible goes. It's 2 Corinthians. But this man said 2 Corinthians. I remember watching an interview that Trump had with 2 men who were talking about religion. And Trump couldn't even name a Bible verse or a chapter that he liked. He said, I think about all of them are good. And then he said he didn't want to get personal about it. That is a lie, and the truth is not in him. There are several. I am not fluent with the Bible, but there are some Bible verses that I love, like Psalms 23, like John 3:16, like Romans 12, verse 1, and you can just read through Romans, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes. Those chapters in the Bible are for wisdom. And I guarantee you, Trump doesn't know anything about those chapters. He probably don't know the first 4 books in the New Testament because he's a liar. He's a con artist and he's a liar. And we know that he's not doing good. We know that he is not physically doing good. And oh boy, guess what, MAGA? You ever heard about the snake getting his head cut off? You ever heard about that? Because when the snake gets his head cut off, the rest of the body is lifeless. But you have to be careful. You have to wait for that snake, when their head is cut off, to shut down. And if you don't get what I mean, I'm not going to go deep into it. But the snake is Trump. That is the snake. He doesn't have much longer to live on this earth. He's an old man. He is 80 years old. They have to keep covering his hand up. He's sundowns, midday. He's passing gas in the Oval Office. And people are like, you know, I don't know. I posted a picture because I heard about this flatulence thing. And people who were, you know, part of the administration or whatever, they talked about this flatulent thing that Trump would do. And they said how bad it was. Well, you see that lady, go back to the video where Trump passed gas in the Oval Office, and it was probably like another minute or 2. And then the lady's like, all right, thank you, get out, thank you, goodbye, thank you, goodbye, thank you. And the lady in the green was like, oh my goodness, did he just do that? Like he broke wind and I was behind him. That's what Trump did. We know that when that time frame comes, there are going to be people dancing in the streets, because he has wrecked this country to no end. And okay, so let me just say this here. This hobby venture said we will be lost without Trump. You're already lost. Don't worry about it. You are lost. You are lost because you accept the things that Trump is doing. And the reason why you accept it is because you're a hateful bigot and you're stupid. You're an ignorant person. Idiocy was made for you. That movie Idiocy was made for you. That's why Trump likes you guys. He loves the poorly educated. And he doesn't like intelligence. That's why he likes to attack women all the time, especially black women. He likes to attack women because women are the most intelligent creatures on this earth. Black women being at the top. Black women being at the top of the intelligence. If we was to do a chart, Donald Trump would be in the negatives. I remember when Trump was first in office and when he finished first in office, when he was the worst president. And that was saying something. They classified Donald Trump as the worst president after his term ended in 2021. And that's saying something because we've had some doozies. We've had some doozies with the Confederacy, with the racism. We've had some doozies with the many wars that we've been in to lose soldiers. We've had some doozies who imposed tariffs, wink, wink, Herbert Hoover. We've had some doozies that wrecked the economy. We're talking about the worst president in modern time was Donald Trump. And then they did a poll of the top 50, the top 40 first ladies. And where was Melania at? She was down there she was close to the bottom of the list as well. I remember this whole thing about Christmas. Who gives a fuck about the Christmas? That part was, I was like, wow. And Trump said that he helped people to say Merry Christmas again. That's why I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off because MAGA thinks that they really care about Christmas and how people say Christmas. Trump said that he made the term groceries when the word grocery was out well before I was living. Groceries was out. I coined the term groceries. You know hey, let's get over affordability. Let's get over affordability. Stop talking about affordability. That was what Trump said, but what he campaigned on was affordability. Man, this Black History Month, boy, I tell you what. Unfortunately, Black History is the shortest month of the year. But I'll tell you this, I celebrate my Black history. I celebrate how far we've come. We still got a long ways to go because we do have people out here of the same skin color who accepts racism from the party that they belong to, like a Tim Scott, like a Byron Donalds, like a Brandon Tatum. Son of you. Candace Owens. Kanye came out apologizing, and I was like, man, I am not accepting no apology. He didn't even apologize to black people. The massive effect that he's done to black people. Kanye came out in the New York Times or whatever it was, the Wall Street Journal, posting an apology, and it was like he didn't apologize. I felt like he really didn't apologize. I feel like he really didn't apologize. Now, let me just respond to this comment here because there's always this person that tries to switch it around thinking that the Democrats are bad. Somebody said that, who invented or who started the KKK? Let me ask you this question. Who are the KKK voting for now? Who do the KKK put their support behind? Because we already know about the party switching. We already know about the party switch. And I tell this many times when people get on my channel and they want to ask me that dumbass question, like, we think that the Democrats still support the KKK. Now, I will say this. There are some racist Democrats out there. There are. But I tell you this, David Duke is not a Democrat. Neither are these Confederate flag flying assholes out here. They're not claiming to be Democrat. They wear the MAGA hats. And they're okay with pedophiles. They're okay with pedophilia. They're okay with violating young girls. That's why they're still supporting Trump. I'll say it again. Anyone that did any crimes violating the women who are women now, violating the young girls when they were girls, need to be held accountable. And I don't care who is it. I don't care who's on the list, who's in the list. If they did something to violate the now women who some of them, have lost their lives, like Virginia Giuffre and we had Katie Porter, These women need vindication. And I don't give a damn if Clinton violated the women's, lock them up. Lock them all up. But see, MAGA is like, well, you know what? We just need to get over the Epstein Files. We need to get over the E-Files. No, we don't. If you have daughters and you are a MAGA and you support Trump still, knowing the things that we know, and you're trying to bend it like, oh, well, it doesn't say that he was on the island. Bullshit. I pray for your daughter. I feel sorry for your daughter. Because you seem like a man or woman who is willing to accept that this man, Trump, and the billionaire class who had access to the island, you're okay with them violating your daughter. And any man like Nick Fuentes' bitch ass, excuse me, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get that out there, but I had to say it. Nick Fuentes supporting Epstein, thinking that Epstein was cool, that goes to show you what type of person he is for real, even with the racism that he has. Even with the racism that Nick Fuentes has, that goes to show you that he will go to the depths to be an evil person. And that's what he is. That's what he is. Me as a small channel and hearing and seeing the things that this man has said, I know that there is a hot place for him as well. And it's amazing how I hear that he's half Mexican. It's amazing how we have individuals that support and back racism when there's a party, the Republican Party, who doesn't like half of his kind. What sense does that make? What sense does it make for a person to be part of a group of racists that if they had it their way, they don't want them in the country? That's like an oxymoron for real. I'm a racist, but I'm black. I'm a racist, but I'm white. I'm a racist, but I'm Latino. I'm a racist, but, I'm Indian. What type of sense does that make? That's like, I remember watching a Dave Chappelle skit, and he was like Cletus or whatever his name was, and he was supposed to be like, he was kind of like, they called him the Grand Wizard, and they never saw his face. They never knew that he was an actual black man. And he was in this church, and this skit was hilarious. I forgot what his name was on it, but Dave Chappelle played the part, so it was so hilarious. And he was at that church, mind you, church. Dave Chappelle was at that church, and he was talking about, we don't want him here. White power. Excuse me. No, hey, don't demonetize me, YouTube, or don't kick me off. I'm not saying that for me. I'm not supporting that. But he was like, WP. And they're like, yeah. And they was like, show us your face. Show us your face. And he was like, they want me to show my face. And the people that knew what he was, they were like, no, don't take the mask off. Don't take the mask off. And they were like, show us your face. We want to see your face. He took that mask off, and people was looking. They was sitting there like, and you see the person's heads go, like it was just like a total twist. They didn't know what to deal with that. They didn't know what to deal with, because here they were thinking that this Grand Wizard was one of them, but he wasn't. And it turned those people like literally, you got to go check it out. But yeah, the head blew up. You know what I'm saying? Any person like Candace Owens, these foundational Black Americans that they claim they're foundational Black Americans, but they haven't come out and said anything about how Trump violated Michelle and Barack Obama with that Truth Social post that he did. You have all these individuals that haven't said shit about it. But then you have one, Tim Scott. I pray that this isn't true. I pray that this isn't true. Tim Scott was the one that was sitting there calling, it was like Byron Donalds calling Trump daddy. I would never call a man daddy besides my father, who is no longer here. So ain't nobody being called daddy from me. But these dudes, I just love you. That was Tim Scott. Where is he at now? Tim Scott, the POS who got the black vote to vote against their own will, Byron Donalds, the Jamaican-born American, whatever, his parents, one of his parents was Jamaican or whatever. These people are not for us. They're not for the black community. They're not for the Hispanic community. They lay in bed with racism. They don't mind it. They don't mind it. And like, you can look at listen, I'm going to tell you something. I've dated white women. I've dated Hispanic women. I've dated Asian women. I've dated women. I've dated all shades of color of women. Back in my college days, I didn't have an issue with interracial dating. But I knew my history and I knew what I stood for. I knew that I would never sell my soul to racism and approve racism, no matter who I was dating. I stayed true to being a black man, even when I was dating outside of my race. But if you look at these individuals who kowtow to racism, look at who they're in relationship with. Look at who they're in bed with. Look at who they have their conversations with people that may not be able to relate to the African blood, sweat, and tears that has happened in America. Look at them. Byron Donalds is married to women of the paler skin. Tim Scott got engaged to a woman of the paler skin. Candace Owens married to a man of the paler skin. And you think that they're going to support me? You think that they're going to fight for me? You think that they're going to stand up for me? No, they're okay with it because, see, they're in that supposed safe zone. And that's what pisses me off about people who sell their soul to validate racism. Like the Hispanics, the Cubans, it was two people that took out Alex Preddy. And they were Hispanic individuals that were part of ICE that took out Alex Peretti. They were okay with taking out a man who was standing up for a woman that was pushed. And they are Hispanic. That pissed me off even more. That pissed me off for a Rodriguez or a Hector to do what they did and join ICE. Because guess what? They don't want you here. They will use you. You are their token. Latino brothers and sisters, Hispanic, Mexican, whatever you call yourself. If you speak Portuguese, if you speak Spanish, if you speak that Latino dialect, you have an accent, please hear me out. Please hear me out. Racists will use you and then they will leave you. They will use you and then they will leave you. And I hope you take heed to that for what you're seeing out here right now. And you notice that the ones that are joining ICE, are men. They are men that are joining ICE that are going out here violating women, pushing women to the ground, bear spray in their faces. Because you know what? It's like the men want to have the control and they think that a woman needs to stay in their place. That's what they feel. And so that's why they join ICE. And I feel bad if the man that is joining ICE and that's doing these crimes, I feel bad for their household. It makes me want to question how they treat their wife, their girlfriend, and their kids in the household. It makes me question how these men can go out here, push a woman down, call them all these nasty words, what they do in the household, how they're treating their children. We already know how Donald Trump treats his children. We already know how Donald Trump treats women. But see, these fake ass evangelicals overlook that because they think he's the best thing ever. Where Donald Trump cheated on his wife while she was pregnant. Donald Trump saying that he can grab him by the pee. These ICE agents that are doing these crimes, I guarantee you, these ICE agents wearing the mask, because y'all didn't want to wear a mask during COVID time frame. Y'all thought that you was being a violation of your rights during COVID time frame, but y'all want to wear a mask now. These are some of them January 6ers. Real talk. They're some of the January 6ers. Let me read some more comments. Yeah, I treat my wife like a queen. She can validate that. Yeah, I treat my wife. My wife is my better half. I'm gonna tell you this, guys. I've always taken care of the women that I've dated. My wife and I, we barely argue. Really, honestly, we barely argue. I love my wife unconditionally because she's part of my rib, and I respect her, and she knows that. That's why we've been married for 16 years. We've been in a relationship. We've been almost together for 2 decades, and she respects me, and I respect her. And our kids love to see how we treat each other because we're affectionate. Now I'm gonna tell you though, I'm gonna be honest. She's had to calm me down whenever I was in my wild days, where I'd be in the club ready to fight. Yeah, football. I was always ready to fight when I was in the club, and she had to quell me down. Sometimes it didn't happen, especially when you have people that's disrespectful. That's why I don't go to the club now. I don't like going to the club. I don't want to go to the club. You can catch me at a blues spot, maybe karaoke. But yeah, there were times where she had to get me to be cool, because as a former football player for University of Louisville, walk on 2000, we that's what we like to do, was fight, play football and fight. Excuse me. But yeah, we have a pissed off Saturday, not only because of what Trump has been doing to destroy the economy. I heard Bitcoin is not doing good right now. I heard Bitcoin is going down a crapper when everybody was thinking that Bitcoin was going to be this massive thing, right? This Bitcoin was going to be such an amazing thing. That's why they were pushing it. The Trump administration gained a lot of wealth out of the Bitcoin, and now it's crashing. It might have jumped up again, but this man he's gaining so much wealth while destroying the country. Just like he gave Don Jr., they gave them $400 million of a contract for one of the businesses that Don Jr. is affiliated with. And then people wanted to talk about Hunter Biden, because Hunter Biden was part of Ukraine. You know, he was part of something in Ukraine, and they were talking about Hunter Biden took millions of dollars. But here it is that you have Don Jr. getting hundreds of millions of dollars from the Trump administration. Trump is trying to sue, I think, DOJ for $10 billion. He's trying to sue us, basically. He's trying to sue the American people. $10 billion. Part of his own administration. I think it's the DOJ or something like that. He's trying to sue his own administration. And do you think that we have a say in it? Just imagine if Biden did the things that Trump is doing, because the MAGA nuts, these dumbass people, were so upset when Biden was trying to better the economy, bring jobs here. And of course, the Republican Party wanted to talk about freaking gas stoves and shit like that when Biden was trying to propose the infrastructure bill. But they're talking about gas stoves and what is a woman? What is a woman? That's what it was about. The Republican Party, the do nothing Republican Party, the biggest corruption between the two parties is the Republican Party. My honest opinion, the biggest corruption comes from the Republican Party. Just see what they're doing now with all the crimes that they're doing. You had Kash Patel taking the Air Force jet to go to a freaking concert with his girlfriend on our tax dollars. You have the Trump administration making a deal with Saudi Arabia for them to have bases over here in the United States, and getting a $400 million plane gifted to Trump that wasn't going to the archives or whatever. And then MAGA's okay with that, using our tax dollars. Our tax dollars. It costs millions of dollars millions and millions of dollars for that first Iran attack when they were talking about nuclear weapons and stuff like that in Iran, and they bombed Iran. Our tax dollars. They just signed an additional bill to continue to fund It's Not Real while we have individuals foreclosing on their homes here in the United States because of inflation. They're foreclosing on their homes in the United States because they can no longer afford the mortgage. And Donald Trump was like, oh, we don't want to lower the prices. We don't want to lower the prices of homes. We want to keep it where it's at. Damn sure is America first, right? MAGA. Y'all think that, oh, he is doing so great. But listen, MAGA is lying. I know that they're crying inside. They are crying inside, but they just want to hold that facade thinking that everything is great. That's where the Trump derangement syndrome come from. That's where the Trump derangement syndrome come from. Is that they believe that we're doing so great in this country, but their gas prices may have gone down a little bit, but their grocery prices and their mortgage keeps going up, or their rent keeps going up, or their electric bill keeps going up. Guess what? They were mad about FEMA. They were mad about FEMA when during Biden's term, when Hurricane Milton and Helene came one after the other, and North Carolina was flooded. And the first thing that the Biden administration was doing was giving quick aid to individuals that were affected with $300. And you had J.D. Vance and you had the Trump before they became in office talking about they're only giving $300 and people can't get it. And then you had these dumbass MAGA people thinking that it was FEMA's fault during Biden's term. They thought it was FEMA's fault during Biden's term, even though FEMA, they were getting boots on the ground in North Carolina. They were getting boots on the ground in West Virginia. They were getting boots on the ground in all the areas that were affected. And then these dumbass, these dumbass MAGA individuals were angry at that. Like Fox News was playing it on loop, saying that the Biden administration is not helping them out. Well, let me just tell you guys this. Look this up, please. Look this up. Tennessee, a couple weeks ago, I warned everybody about the winter storm that was happening and that was coming. And it was going to hit all over the Midwest to the east. Tennessee, that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. They're going on 13 days without power. And FEMA's nowhere to be found during this Trump administration, this Trump term. Look it up. Tennessee, right now, there are homes without power. 20 plus people have already died because they weren't able to get the aid and assistance, and they're not getting aid and assistance that was supposed to be given from FEMA. And then I heard that they're doing more FEMA cuts too. That's small government for you because you're not getting help now. 29 people or 20 plus people, I think it's 29. It might have gone up since the other day, but these people have lost their lives because they couldn't get help with aid, electricity. Because see, this is where Trump say to leave it to the states. I don't give a damn about them and their disaster. Leave it to the states. But then Trump flips it around like we need to send ICE to every state because of election fraud. And we need to make sure that these elections are secure. That's some dumbass shit. That's some oxymoron right there. Oh, we'll leave the disasters to the states. We'll leave education to the states. But we need to send ICE to oversee whenever the midterms take place. That's what we need to do. Does that make sense, guys? Tell me in the comment section. Does that make sense? We still have Tennesseans, volunteers in Tennessee that does not have power. And they've been without power for 13 days still. And we don't hear anything about it. We don't hear about boots on the ground. You know, we don't hear about FEMA trying to continue to go over there and help them out. And I guarantee you that there are other places that are having the same issue. I guarantee you there are other places that have the same issue. Listen, look it up. I mean, you know, hell, I'm on the phone here. I'm not gonna look it up for you, but yeah, look it up. I just saw it the other day. It was in a particular county in Tennessee that 65% of them voted for Trump. You know, and you know, Tennessee is red. Tennessee is very red. They talk about violence in other places, right? They say violence in blue states, violence in California and Chicago, and violence in Minnesota. But They don't ever talk about Memphis, Tennessee. They don't talk about Louisiana and the violence there. They don't even talk about, I'm in Florida. I am in Florida. We have several places, several areas in Florida that are violent. Hell, the city that I live in Jacksonville, is supposedly violent. I'm gonna put the quotes there because honestly, you're gonna have violence everywhere. But there is never that talk about the red states and their violence. Hell, I heard that Oklahoma has a violent part of the cities, like really violent. But they always want to try to shed it to blue states. Like blue states are the ones that have the most crimes. Yeah, that's what MAGA thinks too. When they're watching Fox News and they're only seeing about Minnesota, when they're only seeing about Chicago, when they're seeing this stuff about DC and so on, that's what MAGA thinks about. But then they don't look in their backyard in Alabama where there's a lot of crime taking place. Or Nashville, Tennessee, Knoxville, Chattanooga. They don't look at that. That's the narrative that the Trump administration wants you to think, that it's just the blue states that are causing these issues. And specifically, the blue states have a better quality of life. They have a better quality of life. I'm going to read some comments here, and then I got to talk about something else too. But yeah, look up Tennessee, though. Tennessee is still without power. I'm pretty sure that some areas in Texas don't have power, and these are red states. These are states being ran by Republican governors that are not reaching out. I remember when Sarah Huckabee Sanders, when we had the flood issue in Arkansas, requested aid assistance from Trump and then had to sue Trump because he said no. And she's a Republican. He's doing this to everybody. He's not only doing this to blue states where he's trying to take away funding, but he's throwing a big old middle finger up to red states too, because Trump doesn't care about you guys. Trump doesn't care about anything besides his pockets. Michael asked me, here, I'm going to respond to this question here. What's your opinion on people who are part of the LGBTQIA community? Because I don't want to, mess this up here, who claim to be Christian. I'll say this in regards to that, and then I'm going to proceed on. I don't live their life. If you believe in God, and of course there's sin, we all sin, we're all sinners, right? But I'm not living their life. I don't know if they will still go into the gates of heaven. That's not my life to live. I just want them to live their life, and I want them to be good to people. That doesn't bother me about their orientation, who they prefer to be attracted to. That doesn't bother me, because me as a Christian man who will still continue to try to walk in the faith of the Lord, I know I have my flaws, but I do my best to love people. It's very hard when you're living in a worldly world. When you're living in a worldly world to the point to where people, they overlook the word of Jesus. They don't walk in Jesus Christ's footsteps. And they celebrate people losing their lives, losing their lifestyles, they're losing things, and they're celebrating that. That is not what a Christian is supposed to do. We are supposed to help one another. We are supposed to reach our hands out and pick that person up when they fall down. But we live in a country where there's people that celebrate the issues that are happening to others, and they are happy with that because of their hatred for the other person. So I'm not going to judge a person who says that they are, their sexual preference, that they're a man and they like a man, or they're a woman and they like a woman. I am not going to judge them, because that's not my life to live. I know I give them respect. I know that, if they're a good person, and I hope they're a good person, that they'll give me respect too. But I don't live their life. I'm not going to heaven for them. I'm going to heaven for me. So I know that me being a man that believes in God, and I'll tell you, I've went through some things, but me being a man that believes in God, I cannot dictate what that person is going to do when they go to heaven. But what I can see is I can see the evil in man, and I can call it out as a human. I can see the evil in man and the things that they're doing to other people, and I can call it out as a Christian man. I can rebuke them. I can say I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, like I rebuke this administration, because their tongue continues to lie. Their tongue continues to say things that are not true. And I cannot celebrate or stand with that. I cannot. Anyways, so I wanted to talk about Elon Musk here. Let's talk about Elon Musk, the almost trillionaire who blatantly lied and said that he wasn't in the E-Files. This dude literally was on his hands and knees, no pun intended, trying to get to the island. He was like that cheerleader hitting up that person that is really just their head over heels for an individual. He was trying to hit up Epstein. He was hitting him up. Hey, I'll meet you on Christmas. I'll meet you on New Year's Day. I just want to come there. Can I come? Please, I'm begging. He was in the files, and then, he was lying to say he never was in the files. He lied and said that he was never in the files, but then we see the unredacted information, and this dude was cucking so hard to try to get to that island. He was like, hey, I have 2 people here. When can I come? Please, let me come. You know how the kid is at their birthday party when they know that they have a birthday party? And they're so excited. They're like, oh, I can't wait. And they go to bed early. Like, let's say Christmas Eve, they go to bed early because they know that Christmas is the next day. This is how Elon was. Elon was like that kid that was just so anxious to get to the island. He was so anxious to get to the island that he was sitting there blowing Epstein up. He was blowing Epstein up so hard because he was just wanting to go there. And then when Epstein said, yeah, you can come on this date, he said, I want to come to the wildest. I want to come to the wildest one. I want the most sinister, the most vile, the most wildest party to come to. This dude was a freaking liar. He lied and said that he had no affiliation. He was never there. Something's up. I don't know about you, but yeah, complicit, lying. X is a cesspool of racism and lies and misinformation. That's why I got off of X. But Elon was cucking so hard. He was going hard in the paint to try to get to Epstein. Straight up. So y'all tell me, post in the comment section, will there be justice for the women? Because I'm praying that there will be justice. They are cult members. See, this is the post in the comment section, please. Let me know. And also subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. I hope that there is justice. And I hope the hands of justice comes swiftly. We know it's not going to happen until 2028. But I am going to continue on my platform to call it out that justice be served. Because we know that the Republican Party, and when I mean they, I'm talking about the Republican Party. They are doing everything they can to protect Trump. Because they know come midterms, we, and I mean myself, I am going to the polls. ICE is not going to scare me away from my mission to do what I need to do to vote out every Republican that I can. Come midterms, we need to make the voting, and trust me, if you're voting for the Republican Party, you're continuing to vote for your arms and legs being removed from you, because that's what they're doing. We need to make it too big for the Republican Party to continue to have power, to continue to destroy this country like they're doing. And it's going to take the young generation as well. Those that are just turning 18 who are registering to vote, check your registration too. Check your registration as well. But the young generation sees it. The young generation sees that things are not getting better for them. They see the heinous things that the Trump administration's Gestapo is doing to their friends, snatching them up. They see that. And that's why they're standing out there defending themselves, and they're defending their friends and their neighbors, because they care. The younger generation cares. And the ones that don't care, they come from a background of family of racists, of hatred, hateful people. That's the background that they come from. But the young generation is stepping up, protesting, they're stepping out in school, the school day, and they're protesting. And I love that because they realize that people are losing their lives in this country that we're supposed to call great. The young generation, it's going to take the young generation to get us out of this mess. And I'm going to be part of the advocate for them. My boys are an advocate for them. Because we know, I know, as a man that may have 30, 40, hopefully 50 more years left on this earth, the 18-year-old is going to suffer tremendously because of this administration and the Republican Party. My boys, my wife and I are leaving generational wealth for our boys. But there are people out here that cannot do that. There are people out here that are still struggling as parents to take care of their children, take care of their bills and so on, that they don't have the generational wealth like other people have. We are making sure that our boys are knowledgeable, that they're working on their finances and being responsible. And we're making sure that they are highly aware of how to be able to be successful in life. Because this administration only cares for themselves. This administration only cares for their pockets, and they're hemorrhaging our tax dollars. They are taking our tax dollars to do all the criminal things that they can. Thanks to these freaking idiots that voted for Trump and did not want to listen to the black woman. Kamala Harris was right about almost everything. You know how you have Donald Trump wearing that dumbass hat? Donald Trump was right about everything, when that hat itself is a lie. That hat itself is a freaking lie, that Trump was right about everything. He said that the election was stolen, yet he's been in office for over a year and he hasn't provided any proof that the election was stolen. He has not made any arrest that the election was stolen, because it was based off of a lie. And his MAGA goons, they want to concoct up that, oh, well, we don't know, when back during the COVID time frame, they were saying that was the most safest and secure election for basically any presidency. It was the most safest and secure. We haven't had any arrests, Pam Bondi. Why? Dan Bongino left. He was the second in command to the FBI. This dude left. You got to think things are bad, MAGA. If Dan Bongino, forehead Bongino, his hair is like, this is Dan Bongino. Yeah, I'm going to go back to podcasting because this is hard. I miss my family, my wife. This is very stressful. That dude left the administration. He left the administration for what? If things were great, if he was doing such a great job, if Kash Patel was doing such a great job, why did Dan Bongino leave? I can tell you why. Let me tell you why. Dan Bongino left because he knew that he could not get on public television and continue to lie about what's in the Epstein Files. They said that there was nothing in the Epstein Files implicating Trump. However, Trump is in the E-Files. It's going to be a documentary. This documentary is going to be long. The E-Files has Donald J. Trump, Trump, all over the files. That the DOJ is not being transparent. They had to remove some of those files. They are deleting files and they're trying to implicate Democrats in the files. Obama's not in the files. The Obamas didn't go to the Epstein Island. And y'all MAGA goons are like, oh, well, we don't know. We don't see it. We haven't seen it. We don't know. They're lying. He's not in there. Y'all are sick in the head. MAGA's sick in the head. MAGA's sick in the head. And let me tell you this, y'all. Yeah, don't take offense. However old you are, it's old white men that be wearing these MAGA hats. Like literally, when I see a person wearing a MAGA hat, it's either an old ass wrinkled up white woman or an old ass wrinkled up white man that wearing these MAGA hats. Now, somebody might say, oh, you're racist. You're racist for saying that. No, I'm telling you the truth. When I see a Trump sticker on the back of a person's vehicle, which I don't see a lot now, I'm telling you this, I don't see the Trump flags like I used to, and I'm not seeing the Trump stickers. I'm not seeing any of that on people's vehicles like I saw 2 years ago. I'm not seeing it now. But when I do see it and I pull up beside the person, I just want to take a look. And I look over and just peek. And it's an old person. It's an old white man or white woman. Real talk. I'll be honest with you on that. And that lets me know that that person continues to support the things that are going on. They're more likely they're racist, but also they continue to support what things are going on to women. They're misogynistic too. They probably like the woman to be in the kitchen back in the 60s, the 50s, the 40s. They probably like that they had control over women back then. That's why they support this administration, because the administration and also Republicans in their states, the Republican governors, control women. They are trying to control women and their bodies. They're trying to control women and their education. The Trump administration is trying to take away the women's power when it comes to being nurses and doctors, physicians, intellect, the intelligentsia. They don't want women to be intelligent. They don't want women to have any kind of power and control. That's why we've had so many women lose their jobs from this administration. That's why we had the Department of Education curbing how much of a scholarship that they can give to certain practices for their major and minors. Because they're trying to control women. They're trying to take it back to the Handmaid's Tale. And I ain't having it. I am not having it. I advocate for my women. I advocate for equality for everybody. Unlike these MAGA assholes out here. These son of a... I was getting ready to curse again. I was getting ready to curse a second time. Excuse me. I was getting ready to say that B word that I don't like using. I had to catch myself. Excuse me. I had to catch myself. Women, white women, stop voting for your demise. Stop going into that booth and voting for the Republicans that do not care about you. They were trying to pass this SAVE Act that puts a strain and puts a guard, it puts a roadblock in for married women so they couldn't vote. Why is it that the Republican Party is trying to take away amendments that give women the rights to vote? Or repealing the rights for women to vote? Why? Why is that? Let me read some comments real quick. But listen, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so, because I got a lot more to talk about. But also I got some more videos in the making here. I want to give a shout out really quick. After I read some comments, I'm going to give my shout out. We are calling, let me read this. We are calling you a liar, all of us. I don't care if you're calling me a liar or not. I know the truth. Unlike your daddy, unlike Trump, who's lied to you over and over again. You guys can call me a liar. I don't give a damn. I know that Tampa has had the most foreclosures in the state of Florida. I know that there are five cities in Florida that have the worst housing market. I know that Texas is second. They're a quick second in regards to foreclosures. Dallas, Texas being one of the bigger ones. Trust me, I do my research. Unlike MAGA, unlike these dumbass MAGA people, you had the farmers in Arkansas. The farmers in Nebraska. You had farmers in Nebraska. They had the little farmers meeting or whatnot, talking about how terrible things are because of Trump. And we black people specifically were saying he's gonna screw you over just like he did the last time. The farmers had a $40 billion bailout the first time Trump was in office with our tax dollars. So tell me where I'm lying at. Let me know where I'm lying at. Let me know, please let me know where I'm lying at. Tom Homan, Kristi Noem said that we need to go and attack Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, because they have criminals over there, undocumented immigrants over in Minneapolis, Minnesota, when they're not even next to a border. Their border's Canada. I didn't see them apprehending Canadians. I didn't see them grab a 5-year-old boy named Liam that was Canadian, because Liam was Hispanic. They were targeting racial profiling Hispanic and Latino, Somalian, Haitian, black people over in Minneapolis. When I'll tell you this, let me just tell you this. If you think I'm lying, look up the 3 states that have undocumented immigrants. And I'll tell you this, 2 of them are Republican states. Can you let me know what that is? Let me know the 2 states. Let me know one of the 2 states that are Republican states that have the most undocumented immigrants. Post in the comment section. Somebody post in the comment section the 2 Republican states that have the 2nd and 3rd most undocumented immigrants. Huh? Richard, Chicago, Texas is one of them. Texas is one. And guess what the other one is? Florida. California is number 1, of course, because they're a border state. Texas is number 2. They're a border state as well. And if you're damn sure don't know, Florida is the 3rd. And they're not even a border state. They have no attachment to Mexico. 2 of the states with the 2nd and 3rd highest undocumented immigrants are Republican states, one being not even attached to a border. There is nobody crossing Florida's border over here. But you know what's happening? Is Trump is sending the Gestapo to the wrong areas. He's sending the Gestapo to Minneapolis, Chicago, because guess what? There's a big population of the Spanish community in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, and there's a big population of black people in Chicago. I have family in Chicago, Wisconsin. Tell me that ain't racist. There will be something. Excuse me. If he was saying that, oh, I'm sending ICE to go get the Canadians in Minnesota. I mean, I'll be like, well, hell, they are close to Minnesota there, so I guess, you know. But no, he's sending them for this lie that Nick Shirley said about the Somali community, which there have not been any arrests. That has been an ongoing investigation, since Nick Shirley been there. There was the white woman that was arrested for the fraudulent things that they were doing. She was doing in Minnesota. She's already locked up. So Nick Shirley caused this mess too, and I say F him as well. The 23-year-old dumbass pipsqueak who he didn't even know what benevolent meant. He didn't know what benevolent meant. What does that mean? I was like, whoa, man, idiocy. Let me read another comment here, guys. South Florida. What's up, South Florida? Hopefully you're doing okay over there, but, you know, DeSantis is a criminal. He's an asshole. He's racist as well. He's a bigot. And things have not been getting better here in the state of Florida, especially for myself. I thank God that I am, you know, my wife and I, we definitely try to do our best to take care of ourselves, but I know what you're going through. I know what you are going through, just like we're going through it here in Florida. I did a video on Ron DeSantis and how terrible he's been for the state of Florida, for the Hispanic, Latino, Cubano, Puerto Ricano, the Venezuelan brothers and sisters here, for the black, the Haitian, the Jamaican. I know how terrible Ron DeSantis has been for this state of Florida, where he's saying it's okay for 18-year-olds to carry long guns now. Did not think about Parkland? Did he not think about, you know, the things that have happened with people carrying weapons here in Florida? Oh, they were okay with the Second Amendment. They were okay for the Second Amendment, but they weren't okay when Alex Brady lost his life. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Out Trigger Smart, new footage of Renee Good. Then move. It's a big country. That Dale guy, you can kiss my ass. I'm not moving anywhere. You mind your business. Matter of fact, I'll do what I please. Because see, where I'm at here in Florida, I can advocate for my people here in Florida because I am living here and I live this part. So I'm not moving anywhere. You can hate it or love it. You know, what people say, you need to leave the country, get out of the country. What good am I in another country if I cannot be on the ground advocating for my people? What I see, what I'm experiencing here in my country, I need to advocate for that. And that's why I do this. That's why I'm on this screen. That's why I talk. Because what good am I if I'm a George Clooney and I decide to relocate to France where I'm safe at? What good am I to my American brothers and sisters here? My American, Hispanic, Latino, I don't care what color you are here. I care about you and I'm going to advocate for you if you're on a good side of history. If you're on a correct side of history and you're a white person and you understand the trials and tribulations that black people had to go through to make it a quality place, equal place in this country, and you care about everybody being able to succeed in life here in this country, why would I leave? I'm not leaving. You leave. If you don't like how black people, Asian people, and my Cherokee family, because I have some Cherokee in my blood here, how the Indian people are living in the United States, go move to Russia. You can go move to a more ethnically white area instead of trying to tell me to move to the place that I was born in. I was born and raised here in this country. Shout out to Kenosha, Wisconsin, by the way. I am not leaving. Why don't you leave? Because this is not your country. This is the people white. Let me not go too deep into this, but this land was stolen. And it wasn't stolen from the people of this color. This land was taken from my indigenous Indians. And then my ancestors were brought here. They were brought here over the diaspora, where many have died. My ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears in the bottom of the ocean because of the many that died when they tried to pack us up like freaking cattle and bring us here during the transatlantic slave trade. And stolen, kidnapped from a country full of rich gold, silver, everything, diamonds. I'm not leaving. I am not leaving because I got work to do. And we have work to do. And we know that the millions of people in this country do not like how this country's direction is going. But see, the racists hate that. They don't want to hear that. They think that everything is great when they're looking at the Rasmussen poll saying that Trump has a 65% approval rating from racist Republicans, basically. And then they get their other information from a different poll that says Trump's in the water everywhere across the board. People are starting to wake up because we're woke. I am woke. Hold on, let me see this here. Let me read this because I got something to say. Chicago black woman shot 30 times in her car 3 days ago, and you complaining about DeSantis? I live in Florida. I didn't hear about that. Unfortunately, it's sad that she lost her life. We have crime everywhere. I'm complaining about DeSantis, of course. I am. Did you fail to realize that back in 2024 that there was a white man that went in my city in Jacksonville and hunted down and killed 3 black people in a Dollar General and went over to Edward Waters College that was going to try to do the same at the college? So yeah, I'm complaining about Ron DeSantis. Do you also know that there was a white nationalist that went to the Florida State University and shot and killed some people here in the state of Florida? Get the hell up out of here. I know that there is going to be crime everywhere. Of course, we have to be careful. That's why I always tell people to take care and pay attention to your surroundings. But don't sit there and just put this as a black woman being shot 30 times that I have to not worry about DeSantis, because I live in the streets here. I live in these streets, and there's crime that happens everywhere to every person. So don't come on my channel with that bull crap. I'm getting emotional about that because I know what's been happening in Florida with alligator Alcatraz, and there's people still missing here in the state of Florida, to which Ron DeSantis was the one that said, yeah, Trump, bring them on down here. Bring the criminals on down here to alligator Alcatraz, where there's no great plumbing, when they had to sleep on the freaking ground and it's freaking wet and raining outside. So you get out of here with that stuff. Don't sit here and try to point out one particular issue that has happened in our country. What about what's happening in Memphis, Tennessee? Huh? I know the things that are going on in my country. Somebody that's saying that a woman being shot 30 times, unfortunately, I'm very sorry that that's happened to them. And I pray for healing for their family. But that single thing that's happening, that happens every freaking day in this country. And a lot of people don't hear about it. They don't hear about it. But let's talk about ICE killing people. Let's talk about people dying in concentration camps in Texas, even in Florida. Let's talk about that by being illegally detained. Let's talk about how black women have lost their jobs at an alarming rate, which they're losing their health care. They're losing their sense of income. Let's talk about how white women has gotten part of that mix too. Let's talk about how all races have gotten part of that mix as well when it comes to things that have taken place in this country. Under Trump, under Donald Trump. As soon as Trump got into office, he did away with the cuts, not cuts, but they were going to be, they didn't continue to sign what was it? They didn't continue to sign the cap off on medications. And so those medications were going to be hitting people's deductibles, to which people couldn't afford it. And a young man died because he couldn't afford his $500 inhaler that used to be $35 because it was subject to his deductible. He died. He was like 22 years old, all because of Trump. So, I mean, you let me know if I only, DeSantis, yes, I worry about him because he's a freaking racist. For him to say that he's going to force a TPUSA chapter in these schools and universities, and any school and university that says that they don't want to do this TPUSA chapter memorializing the fucking racist Charlie Kirk. No, I don't have to support that. So yes, I'm worried about DeSantis and his racist ass. How about when Ron DeSantis took Medicare funds and diverted it to his wife's campaign program or foundation? Millions of dollars taken from Centene, from Ron DeSantis's Ron DeSantis. So how do you say, okay, don't worry about I'm worried about DeSantis? Hell yeah, because that's my tax money. That's my money that was supposed to come to individuals that were in need of it, that was diverted to his wife, and his wife is an extension of him. So it was diverted to him as well. Get out of here with that. Don't come on my channel talking that stuff about, oh, why are you so worried about DeSantis? Because I know DeSantis is a freaking racist. And you can see in the video that I posted, and you guys check it out now. Check out that video. But I posted a video about DeSantis. And in one of those videos, he came to Jacksonville, and he was booed because of his policies. He couldn't get a word out. Him and his wife were coming they came to Jacksonville, and he didn't even say Edward Waters College. He didn't say Edward Waters University. He said Edward Waters School, and they had to correct him. And the people booing him Even though my girl, she came up, was like, y'all, he came here to talk and everything, and yada yada yada. Y'all gonna give him respect and everything. Hell with that. No, you're gonna get booed up out of Jacksonville because your policies, your racist rhetoric, and the racist thing that you've done for the state of Florida that has affected black people, Asian people, Indian people, Haitian people, that has affected Latino people, Hispanic people, Mexican people, has caused this. So yes, Ron DeSantis got booed. And I love that he got booed. I appreciated every person that was booing him and told him that his policies are hurting people. When there were 3 people that lost their life to racism because of the whole white replacement theory. The white replacement theory that you scared ass white people, racists, you scared ass racists thinking that we're here to replace you guys. And that if black and brown people take over as the majority of this country, now we're going to return the favor to what has been done with us through slavery time frame. That we're going to try to get back at you. That's the fear that some of you people have, is you're afraid that black and brown people are going to come after you when that's not the case. There has never been a time where I thought of vengeance on a person, a white person, because of what they did in the past, in the past time frame. There has never been a time frame that I've thought about revenge. And I'll tell you this. The friends that I have that are white, I respect and love them. And respect that, hey, we came from different pasts and backgrounds. We came from different type of histories. But I'm not angry at them and yelling at them saying that you need to apologize. Well, JD Vance said that white people no longer need to apologize. I'm saying, when did I ever ask for an apology from a white person because of what their ancestors did to my ancestors? Hanging them up in trees, skinning the children, separating women and men from each other, having men fight. Did you know that boxing back in the day, back in the time frame of slavery, did you know that they used black men? Because, we are physique. We are muscular, dark, and strong. We look like freaking heroes. They would gamble from one slave owner to another slave owner. And then people around the circle seeing black men and black little boys, maybe even girls, boxing and fighting. And they put wagers on these bodies. Those were my ancestors. Do you think that I'm trying to ask for an apology because of what that history taught me? What I know about that history? I'm not asking for an apology. I just want people to understand and recognize the past and the history in regards to what happened to my ancestors. Just like my Indian brothers and sisters, my Cherokee, my Navajo, all of them, and what happened to them and how they were conned. Just like my Asian brothers and sisters who came here and they had Japanese internment camps during the World War II time frame because of the kamikaze airplane attack at Pearl Harbor. And they rounded up Japanese Americans here and put them in internment camps, concentration camps, because they were thinking that the Japanese Americans were going to revolt and that they were all part of this tactic to destroy America. Where's my 40 acres and a mule? Where's that at? I dang sure ain't going to get it from Donald Trump. FBA, all my ADOS, all the people that were talking about that they got to win because Trump became president. Where are those reparations at? I said this in the last Piss Saturday. I said that we don't hear anything about FBA and ADOS when it comes to Donald Trump saying that, oh yeah, you want to come over here to this country, you pay a $5 million gold card, but then he still hasn't given us a $5,000 tariff rebate check. We haven't received a tariff rebate check, not even a $2,000 one. Yet we don't hear anything about. I'm sorry, I just got sidetracked here. Get a freaking job. It's Saturday. I'm off of work this weekend, man. I like me. Hey, listen. You get a job and get off the channel. Daryl Kendall, you get a job. Why are you watching me? I appreciate it though. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching me. Look at this shirt. Can you read the shirt, guys? I am not responsible for what my face does when you talk. Now, when you chat, because you can't talk to me right now. I'm the one that's talking to the screen, but when you chat, I can just look at it and keep it moving. But anyways, yeah, we haven't received. I know it's backwards. Yeah, it's backwards, but that's what it says. He lied to everybody. Trump was not right about anything. He's not. This man, I think he's in the E-Files like 30-something thousand times. Like his name pops up somewhere or another. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but is he in the E-Files over 30,000 sometimes? I know he lied 30+ thousand times during his first term, and he golfed almost a full year in his first term. Can anybody let me know? $5,300 times? That's possible. Yes. Kamala Harris' prediction was right, but we knew it. Yeah, 38,000 times? Listen, if he's in the files one time, he needs to be investigated, right? I don't care. Listen, we know this. We know that Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, Michelle Obama are not in the files. We know that for sure. It's a ring. It's a ring of millionaires and billionaires that are in the files, right? There are millionaires and billionaires that are in these files because that's the ring there. That's that whole rich ring. We are not invited to that. We were not invited because we're not rich. I wouldn't go anyways. I would not be invited to something that, hey, I know you're innocent when you're like seeing some kind of crazy stuff the first time because you really don't know because you don't know yet. But when you're there and you're there multiple times, like Woody Allen, and you're there with like Steve Bannon multiple times, you know what's going on. And then Elon Musk, some of y'all's buddy, y'all think Elon Musk is the best. He's the greatest liar. He's one of the greatest liars and misinformation, conspiracy theorists, ketamine POSs. He lied and said that he never went there. When you witness evil things being done, you need to go and report it. Straight up. You need to report it. Howard Lutnick straight up lied. Howard Lutnick lied so hard. He was like, we went over to Howard Lutnick. We went over to his house and everything. We saw this massage table in the middle. And he was like, yeah, I like massages. I love them. And Howard Lutnick was like, oh, yeah, well, we're going to go ahead and go, buddy. We'll see you later. And his wife was saying, oh, that man is nasty. And Howard Lutnick was like, yeah, he's in the files. He was lying. He's trying to cover it up. They are trying to cover up these files because they know, just like Steve Bannon said, many of them are going to be going to jail. I'm telling you this, 2028, matter of fact, we need the midterms for every single Republican get out of office. Vote them all out. Vote every single Republican out of office, and then we're going to go ahead and there'll be, not we, because I'm not part of the Congress or anything, but there needs to be articles of impeachment and removal from office. And they need to do the same thing for J.D. Vance. Articles of impeachment and removal from office. And we need to get Democrats back in office to bring this country back because other allies that we have are no longer allies. The damage that has taken place in the United States and across our alliances with other countries, it's going to take decades to mend because Canada can't trust us. United Kingdom can't trust us. France, especially not Finland, Greenland, Netherlands, Denmark, and all those places. We are not trusted right now. Italy, shout out to Milan. Shout out to Milan, Italy, and all my Italian brothers and sisters protesting ICE. Abolish ICE. We cannot be trusted with this administration, and we are losing allies in droves. And just like I said before, just like I said in the last video I did, and just like I said in my last I'm Pissed Saturday, Xi Jinping is loving it. Xi Jinping has formed a particular relationship with Mark Carney, Keir Starmer. He's forming alliances with Claudia Sheinbaum, my Mexican sister. He's forming these alliances because he's like, look at the Americans. Look how the Americans is treating you guys. Look how the Americans is talking badly about you because you speak Spanish. Look how the Americans talking about your maple syrup and how terrible Canada is. Look at the Americans talking about that they want to take over Greenland. We don't want to do that. We want to form a partnership with you. We're left on an island here. We are exposed. And the ones that Trump is siding with Putin and Viktor Orban and Mohammed bin Salman, these individuals that are part of that ring, but part of that Epstein ring. These are dictators. These are individuals that do not want you to have rights. But people like MAGA, y'all are so up Trump's keister, y'all are so up Trump's gluteus maximus, that y'all are failing to realize that he is trampling all over your human rights, your First Amendment, Second Amendment, all your amendment rights. He is trampling all over it, and y'all are okay with it. Y'all are accepting it. Because, see, it was like Biden, if Biden did just a little bit of what Trump is doing and continue to do it, you guys would be talking about, we need to file articles of impeachment, the 24th Amendment. We need to get Biden out of here right now. Y'all have been at the Capitol again. Y'all have been at the Capitol again trying to remove the president. And then the president, Biden, back then would probably have to impose martial law and get the military involved because you guys were frothing at the mouth to try to try to take out Biden. That's what y'all would have done. Rules for thee and not for me. That's what MAGA thinks is. I'm okay with Trump being a dictator because he was ordained by God to do what he's doing, and he's heaven sent and everything, even though he lies, even though he's cheating on his wife, even though he is always degrading women. I'm okay with Trump stealing money from you. I'm okay with Trump coming out with these Trump phones and Trump Bibles and coming out with these Trump shoes and selling them for $800, Trump NFTs. I'm okay with that because Trump is God. But he's pillaging your money. He's taking your money. He's taking my money. I'm okay with Trump doing this, having the Republican Party impose the big, beautiful bill. I'm okay with him imposing a big, beautiful bill that adds more wealth to the millionaires and billionaires, the top 1%. And guess what? That 1% was at the island. You couldn't even get remotely close to the airplane before it was taken off to get to the island. That was for Bill Gates and Elon Musk and all these other individuals to go to the island because they're the millionaires and billionaire class. Yet we're continuing to give them our money. That's why I protest things. Last time I've been in Target was in 2024, and let me be correct. We went in Target. My wife got something several months ago, but that was the last time that we were in Target. That was the only time we were in Target for the whole year. As soon as Target started to remove their DEI initiative programs that help minority people, black and brown people, once they decided to remove that and said that they weren't going to help continue to fund it because they were trying to be in the bag with Donald Trump, because Trump was trying to strong arm everybody to get out of these DEI programs that were affecting black and brown people because of that, I said, I'm boycotting. I like Target. Don't get me wrong. I like Target. Target's clean. They might be a little bit more on the expensive side, but when you go into Target, their aisles are clean. All the clothes are folded up, or the clothes are on the hangers, all nice and neat. Their food area is nice. Their walking areas are pretty clear. There's not always a whole bunch of traffic in Target. I like going to Target, but I ain't going. That's my protest. I am not going to Target. Yeah, you can boycott this. Whoever boycotts, it don't matter to me. I'm not losing any sleep. I don't get paid to do what I do. I appreciate connecting with people here. And it doesn't matter what color you are to connect with me. I love to get on here and talk. I love to educate. That's what I do, guys. I talk about things that are affecting my country. It may not be affecting me. And that's where we fall. That's where we fall out at. People will remain silent because it's not affecting them. then they will change up and start speaking up when it affects them. That's where the loss of humanity is taking place in this country, in this world, honestly. You know, MAGA voted for Trump because they thought that, besides their racism, that he was going to be better for the economy and everything else. But then when they were affected, they say they didn't vote for this. The hell you did? You did vote for this. You voted for all of this. You were duped. So what are you going to do come midterms? You'll have some of the same people to say they didn't vote for this when it's Donald Trump that has affected them physically, financially, and they will go back in the booth and vote for the Republicans that co-signed this, that said it was okay for Trump to go ahead and destroy the economy, destroy the country, to illegally unalive people that are in boats that are not even they're in international waters. The Republican Party allowed that. The Republican Party is not talking about the individuals that are being attacked in the blue states, in the blue cities, as well as the red state and red cities. Because people are getting attacked here in Miami. People are getting attacked in Fort Lauderdale, the Broward County, Hillsborough, Lee County, Tallahassee. People are getting attacked in Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Corsicana, Texas. People are getting attacked in red states that are controlled by Republican governors who are allowing it and accepting it. Yeah, exactly. Let me say this. You Herman K. Yeah, MAGA thinking their leader at 85-year-old would be a good vote. You know, MAGA voted because of the lies that were given. They were so gullible to believe that Donald Trump was going to bring the economy back. They were so gullible to believe that Donald Trump was going to bring their grocery prices down and that he was fighting for the little man, that he was fighting for union workers, that he was fighting for American citizens to get jobs. The last job reports for January were one of the worst. I think it was 22,000 jobs created. So he's really fighting for the little man with 22,000 jobs created. That number, and I think it's been retracted. I think that besides the 1.12 million jobs that were lost last year, we are on pace for a great recession here in the United States. He's not fighting for America. He's fighting to get over these e-files. He's fighting for it's not real. That's what he's doing. He's fighting to continue to aid and fund a genocide of my Palestinian brothers and sisters in Gaza. And yes, we cannot forget, where is Jill Stein? Where is Jill Stein? Please, somebody post in the comment section. Can somebody tell me where Jill Stein is at? How come she's not on platforms? How come she's not on CNN? How come she's not on even Fox News? Where is Jill Stein? How come she's not talking to that dumbass dude on CNN? What's his name? Because he's got such a punchable face. Scott Jennings. How come she's not debating on CNN or going on MSNBC talking about the atrocities that are taking place in Palestine? Why? Why is she? Where is she at? Because she was part of the problem. She was a wedge for the Democratic Party to lose. So she diverted that particular vote from my Muslim brothers and sisters. Dearborn, Michigan, I'm talking to you. All over the United States. She was there to divert the vote to get Trump in office. And now, where is she at? Where are my people protesting the things that the one racist dude that went to Dearborn, Michigan, get ready to burn the Quran, terrorizing the Muslim community? They didn't want to vote for the black woman. When the black woman told people Donald Trump is going to destroy this economy, and Donald Trump does not care about you. Donald Trump is trying to protect the millionaire and billionaire class. Donald Trump has not proposed any plan for the American people. And he's continuing to spend billions of our dollars We have last year, guys, look this up, please. Last year, the Trump administration added $1 trillion to the national debt, the fastest that any president has done to the national debt. But I thought the tariffs were supposed to pay the debt down. I thought that the tariffs were supposed to pay the debt down, the national debt. However, we added $1 trillion in 1 year under Trump. Man, that's crazy. Man. No, you watch Fox News and believe everything Trump says. Yep, that's right. That dude does. MAGA, who pays for the tariffs? Who pays for the tariffs? Thank you. Let me get in some of these comments here, and let's talk about. Casey, do you understand the state of Minnesota is not a federal government? Exactly. Yep. Yeah, man, listen. Give it to these MAGA nuts that try to get on my channel talking crap with misinformation. Because I'm telling you this. Let me bring out this here. Let me go back to, let me give a little note thing, because I did take a little bit of notes here. You know, they thought, so listen, I don't know if anybody's gonna watch the Super Bowl halftime show, but I am. I'm gonna listen to my boy Bad Bunny, okay? People thought that Bad Bunny wasn't a U.S. citizen because he's Puerto Rican. Like, MAGA is so stupid. They don't know that the United States owns Puerto Rico. United States owns Puerto Rico, and Bad Bunny, even though his primary language or his first language is Spanish, they thought that he was foreign. They thought that he was coming from another country. See, this is how racist and dumb MAGA is. MAGA is so racist and dumb that they think that the Puerto Rican people are not U.S. citizens. But see, we have individuals who are Hispanic that supports this type of racism. I should have minored in Spanish, because I can speak a little bit of Spanish and I can understand it, because I know that in the United States that we are one of the only countries that doesn't know another language. We are one of the only countries that is so. I'm no offense to anybody. If you feel like you are part of this, then you probably are. Our country is so dumb that they fail to realize that many countries speak English, but it's not their primary language. We have Asian, Japanese, South Korean people that speak their language and they can speak English as well. Yeah, we're the only country where we have racist assholes that say English only. The Trump administration proposed that individuals that are trying to vote, even though they're U.S. citizens who speak another language, need to read things in English. That's racist. We had Ron DeSantis propose that any truck driver that is driving here that comes from Mexico, they cannot speak Spanish. They need to speak English. That's racist. We had a bus driver, not here in Florida, but I heard it, a bus driver, because it's a bus driver, of course they have kids that speak Spanish and everything. The bus driver put a poster saying that kids that come on a bus need to be respectful for the English-speaking kids and speak English only. How messed up is that? How racist is that? And then she lost her job. Rightly so. Yeah, exactly. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, they are some of the dumbest of the dumb. My guy Jesse Donovan was like, stop electing stupid people. He was like, stop electing stupid people, and that is true. If you have a constituent that doesn't even know that Puerto Rico was part of the U.S. territory, that we had gained Puerto Rico as the United States, and you had them as an elected official, I mean, I'm like, I understand that we make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I understand that we make mistakes, but by God, you are a representation of the United States. This country only wants English spoken. Yet, they're okay with jobs being outsourced to other countries. Because that's what's happening. The millionaires and billionaires are not getting rich because of the American people. They're not getting rich because of people that live in the United States. And a lot of these MAGA nuts who think that America's getting great or gonna be great, they fail to realize that these millionaires and billionaires could give a fuck about them. That's why they're outsourcing jobs. Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort, he had a lot of illegal and undocumented immigrants working for him. Yeah. But y'all okay with that? Y'all are good with that, right? Yeah, exactly. The billionaires for Trump is pay for play. If the billionaires can slide off Trump some money, they can do whatever they want. Biden had brought the Chips and Science Act back to the United States. He said that, okay, South Korea, you're going to get 35%. The United States is going to get 65% of the chips industry. And he brought it back to the United States, gaining hundreds of thousands of jobs. But Donald Trump proposes a Liberation Day tariff that has lost hundreds of thousands of jobs to the millions of jobs outsourced to other areas. Donald Trump is okay with H-1B visas coming in and going to our universities. He said that a few months ago. Yeah, we want them to come because Americans stupid. He basically said Americans were stupid. Man, and y'all just eat it up. Like, that didn't offend MAGA. That didn't offend MAGA at all. Trump didn't bring Apple back to America. Bull crap. Hey, Siri. Did America come back? Did Apple come back to America? Let's find out. America, if you think America cares about any of us, you're crazy. What I can say is, and let me just say this, the Democratic Party, even though I can't stand them either, the Democratic Party advocates for unions. The Democrats that actually care, like Jasmine Crockett, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, like Jamie Raskins, those type of Democrats that are actually caring for people, Bernie Sanders, the independent, they wanted universal child care. They wanted to fight for labor rights. They wanted an increase in the federal. They wanted an increase in the federal minimum wage. So we cannot say that they don't care about America. Bill Clinton, even though he's in the list, Bill Clinton brought. He did so good that the unemployment was like down like 2 or 3% or something like that. For the black and brown people, it was like 4%, something like that. Bill Clinton had increased jobs as well. If you look at history and you look at which president had started wars and which president had to rebuild America, you will find that in modern times, since the 80s to current, that it's been a Democratic president that has had to bring America back from the ruins of Republican presidents. The ruins of Republican presidents. Apple announced an additional $1 billion investment, bringing a total of 4-year commitments to $600 billion for American manufacturing. So, what that means is that they have proposed or announced. Doesn't mean that they have. Where are these factories at that Apple has built for Americans to get hired at? So that is like saying, my word is that I am going to bring 300,000 jobs here in 4 years, and I'm going to invest $500 billion. But then we see that the jobs are not increasing. So that is just the word. That's not what's taking place right now. Where's the ground being broken at? Where's the applications and people getting hired at when it comes to it? Because the last time I checked, for January of 2026, there was only 22,000 jobs added across all sectors. Non-farming jobs, 22,000 jobs added, not 250,000 jobs added. That was an average of Joe Biden when he was in office. Joe Biden had an average of 175,000 jobs being added month over month after we got out of the COVID pandemic. So like, let's say 2021, late 2021, 2022, hundreds of thousands of jobs to the economy, whereas Trump has lost hundreds of thousands to millions of jobs of the economy. So what these guys are doing with Apple, with Meta, Facebook, Amazon. Hey, I haven't bought anything in Amazon for a while, so boycott Amazon if you can. I know that it's so hard. I know. Keep your Amazon Premium. I'll keep mine, and I pay every now and again. But I used to be a shopping freak. But these guys are saying, listen, I'm supposed to go before a court or judge in regards to some of the illegal things that I was doing. Can you just go ahead and slide this under the rug if I decide to give you several $1 million to your campaign? What did the Apple guy do? Didn't he bring this gold ass, this diamond crystal or something like that? The dude from Apple? And then they talk about, oh, this is how much we're going to invest in everything. But that was a freaking lie. Because where's the investment at? Where's the groundbreaking at? And yes, I understand not all products are sold directly by Amazon. However, Amazon gets a piece of that. So if we buy something off of Amazon, they're going to get a cut from that. And I understand that, we're taking money away from the people that are having their products on Amazon. But I mean, I just have stopped shopping like I used to. Let me read this for a second here. Brother, the national language in Puerto Rico is English. The currency is the US dollar. Any law passed Puerto Rico can be overturned by the First Circuit Court judge. Yeah. But see, here's the thing that we have. Here's the thing that we have is that MAGA doesn't understand that. MAGA doesn't understand that even though Puerto Rico speaks Spanish, Puerto Ricans speak Spanish, because primarily, I mean, yes, they may speak English, and there are Puerto Ricans that speak English. However, their primary language was Spanish, right? And their secondary is English. So they're bilingual. And with them being bilingual, they may come here and see other people that speak Spanish, and they start speaking in their tongue. And then you have these racist ICE people out here that's trying to apprehend them, not knowing that they're a U.S. citizen as well, even though they came from Puerto Rico. But, sometimes we do have brothers and sisters that are the brown skin that come from Puerto Rico that don't claim that they're black, but then they're racially profiled like a black man and woman. And of course, the racial profiling also comes from them speaking in their Spanish tongue. Tariffs are hurting the consumer. Yeah. Assuming ICE is ignorant is wild. What does that mean? ICE is very ignorant. ICE, let me tell you this. ICE, I couldn't be an ICE agent right now. Trust me. They are being bamboozled and lied to, and they are showing their racism, and they're not getting arrested like they should be. But I couldn't be an ICE agent. And gas hasn't gone down. Vegas, somebody said something about Vegas. Let me say this. Nothing's gotten better, guys. Nothing has gotten better. Tell me, post in the comment section, where are you from? Where are you at? Like, what country, what city are you from? Let me know where you're at. All right, ICE is saving our country from what? What is ICE saving our country from? Why does our country need to be saved if Trump is the president? That don't make any sense. Let me see. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Okay, what's up? Ann Arbor, Michigan, Lake Michigan. So I grew up in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and we have Lake Michigan around us. And go Wolverines, right? I'm not a Wolverine fan, but Ann Arbor, Michigan. I hear you. Okay. What's up, Ann Arbor? Let's see what else we got. Vegas is empty. I've seen I've seen videos, and when my wife and I, we were in Vegas for a little bit for her travel nursing gig, and it wasn't busy at all. Vegas is struggling big time. Vegas is struggling. North Carolina, what's going on? North Carolina Tar Heels, that's what I'm talking about. South America, Bolivia, what's up, my Bolivian brother and sister? What's going on with you? Florida, I'm not the Florida man, okay? I am not the Florida. I'm not that type of person. But you hear about Florida a lot when it comes to the Florida man. South Carolina, that's what's going on, my Dominican brother and sister. My Dominican brother or sister, what's going on? I got my brother lives in South Carolina. He's a Gamecock fan. He unfortunately he's in the country. He's in the sticks, and I don't like driving in the sticks because there's no connection. I was trying to watch, and this is when I used to watch UFC some years back. I went to his house in the country and lost internet connection, and I was like, "Bruh, I can't come here anymore, man." I said, "You way out in the sticks." Former military, he's a retired military vet. Puerto Rico, California, LA. Listen, shout out to LA, baby. Shout out to y'all. Unfortunately, Matt Stafford couldn't get it done this year, but I've been to LA. Beautiful, busy. LA is busy, and y'all got a lot of lanes too, man. I forget what highway I was on, but LA had like 6 or 8 lanes. I was like, man, and y'all still have traffic like that? Man, it's crazy. Detroit in the house. Eminem, yeah, Detroit, Big Sean, that's what's up. I've been to Detroit too. Detroit, the Motor City, baby, the Motor City. How's Detroit doing right now? I mean, I know that there's been a lot of struggle and a lot of job loss and things like that in Detroit, especially since the manufacturing has really gone down. Columbia, South Carolina, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Columbia. We had went. My brother used to stay in Columbia. Now I forgot where he's at now in South Carolina. But we had went to go to the Gamecock Stadium, and my wife and I, when we were traveling, we lived in Kentucky at the time, and we had this little Flat Stanley. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Flat Stanley, but it was like a project that the kids used to have to do, and they would have to make this little Flat Stanley, and they call him Flat Stanley. And so we took a picture by the stadium with Flat Stanley being one of the guests with us. That's what's up, South Carolina Gamecocks. Clemson, okay. ACC, University of Louisville. As you can see, there's my jersey when I played at University of Louisville for a couple years. So y'all kind of like a rival to us. Michigan, ICE is making Michigan safe again. That's a lie. Milltown here. What's good, Milltown? Yeah, Vera, that's my girl Vera, man. Much love to you, my friend. I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you hanging on with me. All right, let's see who else is here. Anybody from another country? What's up, New York Rican? That's what's up. Florida, yeah, that's where I'm at too. Hopefully you're being well. I love New York. Hey, listen, New York is fun. Nobody can knock New York, okay? Now, New York may have had some issues, but shout out to Zoran Mamdani trying to get some things done there. The rats are huge. Yes, they do throw trash out on the side of the road, a lot of it, because the trash man comes and pick up. So yeah, New York is fun though. New York is fun. I remember being in Manhattan at Times Square. New York is fun, man. Shout out to you, Florida. What part of Florida are you in? Let me see here. Dominican Republic. What's up, Dominican Republic? Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to Dominican. I'm gonna have to go there to DR sometime down the road. All right, let's see who else is from Florida. Hot off. What's up, Florida? Hey, listen. Florida has some cold weather, and today it's been very comfortable here in Florida. 62 degrees. As a matter of fact, it was hot. I had to turn my ceiling fan on in my office here. I am gonna show you some things here in my office because when y'all see me, Canada. What's up, Canada? I know it's cold in Canada. My son, he just went to Canada with his other family. His biological father's family's in Canada, and it was freezing cold there. And he was there in Canada and had a good time, but he said it was super cold. I will come to Canada, but it won't be during the winter time. My wife and I will. Maryland, what's up, Maryland? What's going on? Listen, we were in Maryland. We had went to DC, and what part of Maryland are you from? You from Bmore? We had went to DC and we went over to Maryland to go get some food. We went to this wing spot because we love wings now. Listen, brother, man, love some wings. I don't like watermelon though. I'm not a watermelon fan. And we was up in Maryland, man. It was pretty cool, but the roads are kind of tight. And then it was going up a hill and everything, man. But it was cool though. Had a good time. Shout out to the Maryland mayor, Frederick. Let's see here. Let's see. We need more ice everywhere. Haha, yeah. Whatever. Well, listen. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, because I'm about to get off here. I've been on here too long. My wife and I, we get ready. No, before I get off, check out this movie. It is I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. Dang. What was that movie? We just watched this movie. It's called give me a second. I need to find out what this movie is. This is a crazy movie on Peacock. Bogina, not Dan Bongino. No, not Forehead Bongino. But let me ask my wife real quick. Bo something. It was a crazy movie about this man, and I'm not gonna jack up the movie here because I don't want to do that. You got sometimes you got people that talk about movies and they just tell the whole movie to where you don't even need to watch it now. I'm not going to do that, okay? So yeah, I forgot what the movie is, so let me just look it up real quick on my other phone here and let you know what that movie is. But it was a crazy movie. If you have Peacock, check it out on Peacock, okay? It is Bodega. Not Bodega. Honey. Oh man, now I'm losing my thought here. I got to tell y'all this movie. It's really crazy. It really kept us intrigued. It has Emma Stone in it, and then it has this guy named James something. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know, because it's not Boogie Nights. Hold that thought. I need to check with my wife real quick on this movie. If you have Peacock, check it out. But if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel as well. Like I said, I'm working on some other videos here. But let me find out this movie real quick. But also, please go and give my sister, Michelle Obama, some love with her documentary, The Becoming, on Netflix. Give me 1 second. Clearwater, yes. Hey, listen, we were in Tampa, and then we went over to Clearwater. Now, the water is beautiful over there. I'm on the east. The water's dirty here on the east, but over at the Gulf of Mexico, that is, the water's beautiful. The water's beautiful over there. Hold on, let me find out that movie. Love it. Love it. What was that movie called? What was that movie called we watched? Yeah. What was it called? Huh? Begonia, yes. Okay. I'm almost done here. Listen, I hope you didn't leave. The movie was called Begonia. You got to check it out. It is on Peacock. It's called Begonia. It's about conspiracy theory of aliens, okay? Conspiracy theory of aliens. But anyways, listen, I'm not going to keep you. Shout out to everybody that stuck with me. Winnipeg. Go Maple Leafs. I love you. I'm going to get off here. Thank you for everybody sticking tight with me. Thank you for everybody combating with the dumbass MAGA on here. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Be on the lookout for some new videos that are going to be dropping later next week. Well, next week. Go Patriots, because I am a Patriot fan, by the way. Also, check out my videos, especially one about Ron DeSantis' crazy, dumb ass, racist. Please check it out, but be safe. Take care of yourself. Stay warm. Peace and love. Thank you, Sublivian. Much love to you. I appreciate you. Romania, right? That's right. Romania, that's my buddy. Peace out, guys.